Where we gonna start at? Remember I was going into Moses, right? Because did he show you the curses yet of the Bible? Did he prove to you how we know we're the Israelites? All right, so that's what we're gonna get into. Now, the book of Deuteronomy was written to the children of Israel.
That's right.
Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake.
Remember I was mentioning Moses, right? Who was Moses for? Who was his people? The Israelites, right? You agree, sis? Moses is part of the Israelites. Read.
These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
Now, go to Deuteronomy 28 and 15. So these are the words which Moses spake directly to the children of Israel, right? Just like I'm speaking to you all. All right, all right.
How do you know that these are
that line? Gotcha. We're going to get it, all right? Read that.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command you this day, that all these curses, shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Now, it just said, Moses said to the children of Israel, if you don't do these laws, I'm going to place curses on the children of Israel. Now, do any of y'all know the history of the Israelites?
No.
They were rebellious people, right? Did they do what God told them to do? No. No, they didn't do it. So what would be placed on the children of Israel? Curses. Curses, right? Now, we're going to go through some of these curses. And these are going to serve as identifiers of who the children of Israel are today. Y'all understand that? Deuteronomy 28, let's go to verse 68. So, this is a key curse. This is a key attribute when identifying who the Israelites are today. Because right now, if I said that you were an Israelite, would any of you agree with me? No. This is the biggest thing. If we told the world that we were the Israelites, would anybody in the world believe us? Absolutely not, right? What would they say? No, you're black. No, you're African American. No, you're nigger. No, you're colored, right? All of the titles that who gave us? They gave us. The white man gave you all of those titles. Let's see. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68.
Now this is the reason why the white man doesn't teach you from the Bible. When you go to his history class, does he open up the Bible for you? No, he teaches you from where? His books that he wrote, his publishers and his authors. Because he don't want you to understand who you are. But Moses was black like us. So we're going to learn from our own people who we are. Y'all understand that? Read that.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Now this is a curse that was placed on the Israelites. The Lord was going to bring us where?
Into Egypt again.
Exodus 20 and 2. Now let's get the context of what Egypt means. Because the children of Israel were delivered out of what nation? Or what country? Egypt, right? They were delivered out of Egypt. Now Moses is saying, all right, I'm going to take y'all back into Egypt again. Now let's see what he means by that.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
Out of the land of Egypt. Now he's going to explain what Egypt means. Read.
Out of the house of bondage.
Out of what?
Out of the house of bondage.
So what does Egypt mean, brothers? House of bondage, or what? Slavery. Go back.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Egypt again, or what again? Slavery, house of bondage. Good. How?
Again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
Now here's the key part, brothers. Remember I told you the white man does not use this book to teach you. Who was brought into slavery on slave ships?
Black.
The so-called black man and Hispanic man. Now this is the key part, brothers and sis. Who else did that happen to? What other group of people can say that their whole nation was taken from one land into another land with ships? There you go. That's the key part. That's the key part. Now, if that is true, my brother, if that is true, who does that make us?
Israelites.
That makes us the Israelites. There you go. Now, guess what? Guess what? I ain't gonna go through no more curses, because y'all understand that. There's many others. There's many others that only identify with us. Huh? Right, right. So, knowing that we are the Israelites is only the beginning, right? Now, there's a holiday coming up on Monday. What's coming up on Monday? Martin Luther King Day, right? Give me 2 Corinthians 6 and 17. What did Martin Luther King stand for? What was his defining moment?
Equality.
Equality, right?
For blacks.
For blacks. But he wanted equality, if there's equality for blacks, that means equality for who?
Everybody.
For everybody, right? So he wanted us all to be what? On the same level and equal, right? Does God ask for us to be equal?
No.
You say no? What you say? No? So this is my question. Martin Luther King, was he a Christian?
Yes.
Let's see. Now a Christian would do what the Bible says, right? Let's see. Now what I'm going to read contradicts the philosophies and doctrines of Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King, his dream was of the devil. And I'm going to prove that to you, all right? Because guess what? Since Martin Luther King, has the black man reached equality here in America? No. We're still in the same state. In fact, many would say and agree today that we are in a worse state than we were before, right? Because at least during the 60s, guess what? We had our own businesses. We had our own jobs. We even married one another with no problem. Our sisters took pride in the way they looked.
Right.
They would dress modest. They would take care of their children. They would take, the mother had respect for the father. Those things were taking place. Does that happen today? No. Read that.
2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17. Wherefore, come out from among them.
Do what?
Come out from among them.
God says that each and every one of you should come out from among them. When he says among them, he's talking about the other nations. Read.
And be ye separate.
And do what?
And be ye separate.
God says that we should come out and be ye separate. For example, let's say the school was actually owned by a black man and we educated our own people and we employed our own people. How much money do you think that would generate within just the black community alone?
We're worth $1.something
There you go.
trillion.
There you go, sis. If the black population alone is worth $1.1 trillion a year, why is it that in every ghetto we stay in?
Because we give it to other nations.
There you go. There you go. We give it to the oppressor. Because guess what we do when the NBA baller get a contract? What does he go buy? He goes and buys a Cadillac. Then he buys Versace shoes. Then he buys a Gucci belt, right? Then he gets a penthouse at the Trump Hotel. Is any of this money going back to his people? No. Let's go back. What did the scripture say?
Be ye separate.
Do what?
Be ye separate.
Now imagine if he invested that money in the Johnson Car Foundation, right? Read.
Said the Lord.
Be ye separate. Read.
Be ye separate. Said the Lord. And touch not the unclean thing.
God says, touch not the unclean thing. The unclean thing today is equality. The unclean thing today is us wanting to come together in one nation, as one people. God does not teach that. In fact, what Martin Luther King said was an exact contradiction of what God told us to be. Give me Deuteronomy 7:6. Would you believe me if I said God said that you are above all people? You wouldn't believe me, right? What about you, sis? You got a question? Go ahead. What's your question?
Then in the Bible it said Christ will also save the other nations if they follow his law.
We'll get it. But no, it don't say that. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art a holy people.
For what?
For thou art a holy people.
What does holy mean? Righteous? Like that? What else? If something is holy, chosen? I like that. What else? Follow the Christ, okay? Holy, set apart. Set apart. We are holy people. Something's holy, that's set apart from everyone else. If I said this building was holy, guess what? You'll take off your shoes, you make sure you're clean, so on and so forth. Certain things come when you're dealing with something that's set apart. God says that we are a set apart people.
Bring it out.
Read.
For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Unto the Lord thy God. God looks at us as different than everybody else. Read.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee.
Hold on. The Lord has what?
Hath chosen thee.
The Lord has what?
Chosen thee.
God chose each and every one of you.
That's right.
He handpicked each and every one of you. Read.
To be a special people.
To be an average.
To be a special people.
To be an ordinary people.
To be a special people.
If something is special, what does that mean?
Yeah, no, it's special.
Yeah,
It's self-explanatory? Okay. Well, y'all can't explain it though.
Yes.
Special. That means it's important. It's different. It's different than everybody. If you have a special pair of shoes or a special outfit, do you wear it for every occasion? Now, you only bring that out when it's something big. When it's the nicest party, right? Or it's graduation. Or it's my sister's first time back in town. I ain't seen her in 20 years. This is special. God says that's how he looks at us. Read.
For thou be chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
Unto who?
Unto himself.
Unto everybody.
Unto himself.
God says that we are special unto himself. Meaning, guess what? Are we supposed to be dealing with everybody else? If you, for example, I'll give y'all an example because Martin Luther King was about equality and bringing everybody together. Do we see royalty today in Europe? Do they go find the lowest class Negro and marry him? Does that happen? No. Who do they marry? They marry amongst themselves. They say of the elites across the world, what do they say? They all have the same blood. Why? Because they omit. Why is it that they push to us equality? They push to us integration. Why don't they do it? They preach that, but why don't they do it amongst themselves? You see that? Because they say that's good enough for you Negroes. You marry the other peasants that are around you, but we keep our blood holy. We keep our blood separate. You know where they get that from? The Bible, our book, right. Deuteronomy 7:3. We're going to go up 3 verses. This is how you become that set apart and holy nation. Read
Deuteronomy
that.
chapter 7 verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Neither what?
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
You ever been with a white woman? All right. What did God say?
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
God said you can't do that. You understand that? Read.
Thy daughters shall they not give unto his sons, nor his daughters shall thou take unto thy sons.
You see that? You shouldn't do that. Because guess what? When you're dealing with the other nations, or if you're dealing with a white man, a Chinese man, so on and so forth, guess what that means? If you're dealing with somebody that doesn't look like you, guess what that means inside? Subconscious. You don't even know it. What does that mean if you're dealing with somebody that looks absolutely different than yourself? Tobit 4:12.
Oh, man.
Huh?
I guess I don't appreciate how I look.
You hate yourself.
That's right.
That's what that means. If I go find something that looks the exact opposite of myself, I hate myself. That is why do you think our women perm their hair and dye it blonde? Why do they do that?
Because they want hate.
There you go. Because they envy their oppressors.
Right.
Tobit 4:12. Read that.
Tobit chapter 4 verse 12.
This is what it means, brother.
Beware of all whoredom.
Beware of all whoredom. That's whoredom when you're dealing with these other nations. Read.
My son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy father.
Do what?
And chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy father.
See what God says? God says deal with your own woman. Because at the end of the day, let's be real, brothers. Who has the most beautiful woman on the face of the earth? The black woman. Why is it that we find ourselves chasing after the white woman? And we know who looks the best. Why is it today the white woman's trying to make their lips bigger, they're getting butt implants, they try to talk like us, dress like us, dance like us, but yet we go chase the impersonator instead of the original creator. You understand that? Read.
And take not a strange woman to wife.
Don't take a strange woman to wife. Read.
Which is not of thy father's tribe.
You see that? Which is not of thy father's tribe. You're from the tribe of Judah. So guess what? You need to find a sister that's on this side.
Right.
Read.
For we are the children of the prophets.
For what?
For we are the children of the prophets.
Because we are the children of the prophets, brothers. We have higher standards. Read.
Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred.
You see that? The great men of the Bible, they all had wives of their own kindred, meaning their own people. They didn't deal with any other nation. Read.
And were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land.
Here we go. Dealing with Martin Luther King, right? We're going to get back on Martin Luther King. Go to Jeremiah 23 and 25. I'm going to show you that God prophesied about Martin Luther King in his dream. I already showed you that it's against the Bible, right? Did God say we are to be equal? What did he say we're supposed to be? Holy, special. Say it again, sis. Above. If we are above, is that equality? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Can we marry the white woman? No. So why is it, if we can't marry them, we can't be equal to them, why is it that we want to hold hands with them? And God said to be separate. Read that.
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 25.
How you doing, brother? You listening? Come pay attention. Learn your true nationality according to the Bible, brother. Read that.
I have heard what the prophet said.
God says he what?
I have heard what the prophet said.
What we are going into is Martin Luther King. His dream was not of the Bible. And we're going to prove it out of the scripture.
Right.
Read.
That prophesies lies.
That do what?
That prophesies lies.
That do what?
That prophesied lies in my name.
Because he professed himself, he was what? Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. He said he was a reverend. Read.
Saying, I have dreamed.
Saying what?
I have dreamed.
Saying what?
I have dreamed.
Read.
I have dreamed. How long shall this be in the hearts of the prophets?
So, God says that he heard his dream. But what did God say about his dream? It was a what? It was a lie. It was a lie. Let's see what God says about dreams. Give me that in Sirach 34. Start at verse 1. I'm going to show y'all what God says about dreams and those individuals that follow dreams. Because as a nation, have we followed Martin Luther King's dream? No. Have we tried to live up to it? That's what I'm asking.
That's right.
Yes. Yes. We marry the other nations. We deal with the other nations. We bow down to the white man. We do all that stuff. We have integration today. We have integrated. All right. Well, not integrated. We have assimilated into this culture. Because guess what? When you integrate, guess what? Both sides of the party bring something to the table. What has the black man brought to the table that has been beneficial for himself in today's society? Nothing. Nothing. I'm going to give you an example. Y'all watch football? In the national championship game, right? Both teams had black quarterbacks, right? And both of them were very, very skilled, very good, right? And they benefited, those universities that they went to, are those HBCUs or were those white colleges? Those were white colleges. So who benefited off of that?
Clemson, Alabama, a national title rematch that will pit the present against the future. Jalen Hurts and Deshaun Watson have led two of the top 15 scoring offenses in the country. Watson has scored more than 40 touchdowns in back-to-back years, leading Clemson to the title game in each of them. But his freshman numbers look a lot like the guy that will be taking snaps for the Crimson Tide. Hurts scored more than 30 touchdowns in his freshman campaign, scoring at will through the air and on the ground. Watson threw for 14 touchdowns in just 8 games as a freshman, while adding another 5 rushing scores. He built on that momentum his sophomore year, churning out 5,200 total yards and 47 touchdowns in 2015. So what will Hurts do next season? Only time will tell. But on Monday night, regardless of who wins, we're going to be watching one star's career come to an end while another is just beginning.
The white man did. At the end of the day, the white man benefited from integration. Imagine if all those so-called African-American athletes were still going to FAM, Bethune, Hampton, so on and so forth. What would that do for the economy amongst the HBCUs? What would that do? That would increase. Would anybody watch the SEC if all the athletes were in the HBCU? No, not at all. Nobody would pay attention. Y'all understand that? Where we at?
Sirach 34.
Read that.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 34, verse 1. The hope of a man void of understanding.
The hope of a man void of understanding.
Are vain and false.
Are vain and false. Read.
And dreams.
And what?
And dreams.
And what?
And dreams.
Do what?
Lift up fools.
And dreams lift up fools. Martin Luther King believed in that dream so much that he had a whole nation of people. He said we integrated into a burning building. You can look it up yourself.
Oh yeah, he regretted it.
There you go. The sister got some wisdom. Martin Luther King himself understood what he did was wrong. Y'all understand that? And I'm going to go back to this sports announcement. Because I read an article, it says that the contract that ESPN made with the colleges was worth over $5 billion. Who is the predominant producer of those athletes? What nation do they come from? They come from us. They come from our people, right? But why is it that FAM, Bethune, Hampton, Southern, so on and so forth, we have stadiums that are decaying, our universities are falling apart, but we produce all the athletes. How come that isn't going back to us?
We produce the most educated minds in the world.
Right. How come it doesn't show forth in our communities? I'm gonna show you why. First Maccabees 1 and I think 11.
Officer, before you go there, can I read this about what you
Go ahead, bring it out.
This is from Stanford University's website, the King Encyclopedia. It says, from the early days of the Montgomery bus boycott, Martin Luther King Jr. referred to India's Mahatma Gandhi as the guiding light of our technique of non-violent social change. Following the success of the boycott in 1956, King contemplated traveling to India to deepen his understanding of Gandhian principles. So this shows you he wasn't following the Bible in his movement. He was following Mahatma Gandhi, a known racist who hated black people.
Yep. See that? His doctrine was not of God. His doctrine was not, there's many pictures, they walk in and have a picture of Martin Luther King, right? And he's reading Mahatma Gandhi. He's not reading the Bible. Y'all understand that? Read that.
First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11.
Now, the sister said that the black community is known for producing the world's best thinkers, philosophers, athletes, singers, dancers, so on and so forth, right? But yet, we still have all this money, and we are still at the bottom of society. I'm gonna show you why.
In those days, went there out of Israel wicked men.
Wicked men, read.
Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant.
Let us what?
Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
With the what?
With the heathen.
A lot of your entertainers, your singers, your dancers, your athletes, they have made a covenant with the heathen. Do you think it's by chance that all the athletes have blonde hair streaks? They dress like women. The men are half naked. They accept homosexuality. No, they have made a covenant with the heathen. Read.
They are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Read.
So this device pleased them well.
This device pleased them well. What? Them making a covenant with the other nations. Because what happens when you agree to deal with the other nations? What happens? Let's say I'm a star athlete and I say I'm gonna have a white girl and I'm a party hard and I'm gonna do all this stuff. What happens? Eventually you get drafted, right? What you get? You get fame, you get woman, and you get money. That's what happens when you live like that. But guess what? When you say I'm not gonna deal with the other nations, when you say what happened? I'm gonna see if y'all up on current events. What happened to a famous athlete this year when he said he ain't standing up for the players? Everybody said, what is wrong with him? He's unpatriotic. He hates America. He's a racist. He's a terrorist. So on and so forth, right? For what? Why? Because he simply said, I will not stand, right, and pledge allegiance to a flag that's hypocritical of what's going on in the nation. Y'all understand that? That's a prime example. But yet, I give you on the flip side. LeBron James. He stood for the pledge every game this year, right? Y'all heard anything bad about him? Not one bad thing. Why? Because he's following along. He has agreed. He has a covenant with the other nations. You see him on every commercial, on the radio, everywhere, right? Y'all understand that? Now, I gave you the solution. The solution is to do what? For our people. To stay above them, but how do we do that? By doing what? Separated. We must separate ourselves from the other nations. Guess what? We got to learn to build businesses amongst one another. We got to learn to marry amongst one another. You understand that?
Before. I can't remember.
Black Wall Street. Yeah. Black Wall Street.
They destroyed it, didn't they?
And they burned it down. Exactly. Because guess what they didn't have, sis? They didn't have the Most High God on their side. They were not keeping the commandments of God.
Right.
Even on a carnal sense. That's basic economics. If you buy and sell amongst one another, it benefits yourself, right? So why can we not do that today with $1.1 trillion in the faith of Christ? You understand how powerful we'll be on the face of the earth?
Bring it out.
Zephaniah 2:1. Zephaniah
chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together.
Do what?
Gather yourselves together.
The Bible says gather yourselves together. I'm going to give you another example because everybody loves sports. If all the black athletes say, you know what, we're going to get our own league and our own stadium, how much money would that generate? And we said we're going to put it in every hood and we're going to benefit the hood. And we only going to hire black contractors to build the stadiums and we're going to hire black people to work inside the stadium. How many jobs would that create? Millions. We only going to hire black producers to show the games on TV. We only going to have black commercials during the TV break. You
bring it out.
Read.
Gather yourselves together.
Do what?
Gather yourselves together.
But guess what? God told us to do that. God said, gather yourselves together.
Gather together. O nation not desired.
O nation not desired. Because we are the nation that is not desired. Nobody knowingly will say, I want to be black. If you walk into a room and I have 5 masks, I had an Arab man, a Chinese man, a black man, a white man. Which mask would most people grab?
The white.
The white one, quick, right? Because you ain't gonna get ostracized, you ain't gonna get stereotyped, you can just walk through life however it is. When you're black, you gotta be 3 times better than everybody else to get a beginning job. You understand that?
Bring it out.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this and join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.